Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. Crypto is pumping. That is good news. In this video, I'm going to explain why I think crypto is pumping. Then I'm also just going to give a brief overview on the Genesis Gemini feud, what is going on there. You've probably seen it in the news so much, but you don't really know what the issue is. I'm going to explain that here. So let's dive right in. Bitcoin up 6% on the day and up around 15% on the week. Here's the 7-day chart for BTC, looking very juicy right there. It's good news. Pretty much all coins are up. Ethereum's up big. All coins are up. Volt Inu, I cover a lot. That is up big, around 12% in the day on the Stage 5 release of their roadmap. I'll cover that in another video. So why is the market rising? Well, it's partially the CPI data release was earlier this week. The numbers came out pretty good, in line with expectations, pretty good, not like unbelievable. I don't think that had too much to do with the prices rising this week because December also had good numbers, and that did not provide an uptick in the market. So why do I think the prices are rising? I think it's mostly just we've been in the bear market too long, and it was just due for prices to rise. As I've said before on the channel, the bear market of 2018 into 2019, the price action has so far mirrored the price action in this bear market pretty closely, despite the fact a lot of people not really mentioning that. I think it has. So let's look at late 2018. Bitcoin overnight, November 2018, fell from 6,000 to 3,000. Right about here, and then it stayed low in the 3,000 to 4,000 range for 6 months. So it took 6 months to pull back up to around the point it was at before. So, and then in June, BTC, as we know, it fell overnight from 30,000 to 20,000, a very similar drastic 40% price dip caused by, not much in particular. So here was the price dip right here, and now it has been 7 months since that happened. I originally thought, as I mentioned on my channel, that the market was going to have an uptick in November, December, which would be the 5 to 6 month mark, right in line with the 6 months it took in 2018. But we all know what happened in November, the FTX implosion, classic black swan event. So I think that postponed the bull market return couple months, and I think now 7 months in, I think we're just naturally starting to see prices uptick for no reason other than they've just been down for too long. So I'm predicting the prices to keep going upward, and this is good news here. It's also great that all coins are also going up. That means it's not just a one-time thing. The whole market is trending upward. Good news. Also, holidays, BTC and crypto doesn't really go up too much around Thanksgiving, Christmas, it usually goes down, which means December in between those two holidays is probably not going to be any uptick in prices. But now it's January, holidays are over, so market is trending up. Genesis and Gemini. So you've probably been seeing these headlines here all week, the last couple weeks, but you probably don't know what is going on. So I'm going to explain just in layman's terms, in a nutshell, what the feud is here, because it's really not that tricky to understand. But this is the headline yesterday. SEC is suing Genesis and Gemini for selling unregistered securities. So SEC is basically saying, okay, well, we don't really care who's at fault, but when two people are feuding and it's a business dispute and customers are harmed, then both people are at fault. So we are suing you. And the unregistered securities, I think that's a little more of saying, well, we don't really know what the problem is right now. We're going to figure that out later. But for now, you're getting slapped with the unregistered securities lawsuit, and we'll deal with it. We'll figure everything out later. So what is the problem exactly? Well, Gemini and Genesis, they partnered about 2 years ago, February 2021, on a Gemini product called Earn, which means if you're a customer of the Gemini exchange, you can stake your coins on that platform and earn 8% daily. So 8% is not nearly as risky as Celsius is 16%, and those sorts of things, but it is slightly more risky than a risk-free T-bill or bank CD rate of around 4 to 4.5%. So how did Gemini get the money to pay for the profits that would pay the 8% yield? Well, they gave it out to Genesis. Genesis is an institutional lending platform, and then Genesis takes that money and invest it in a variety of undisclosed ventures. They don't really need to disclose where they put it. They just put it in a bunch of things and then hopefully generate returns, then give that money, the principal and the interest, back to Gemini. So it worked for about 1.5 years, but then back in November, 2 months ago, Genesis did not return $900 million that was due to Gemini, which would have covered principal and 8% interest payments to customers on Gemini using their Earn program. So the problem here is that Genesis, 2 months later now, they still have not repaid the loan. They're not really saying what the problem is exactly. It's partially Three Arrows Capital. It's partially FTX. Genesis has said that they did do business with Alameda Research, the liquidity providing arm of FTX. They lost some money there, but it's not too much. But then they've also said they didn't really have a relationship with Three Arrows Capital, meaning they didn't take that money from Gemini and really put any in Three Arrows Capital, which some people seem to speculate. So no one really knows why they can't, where the rest of this $900 million that is owed to Gemini went. Nobody knows. Some was lost in FTX. Not much, it appears, was lost in Three Arrows Capital, and they're not saying where the rest of it went. They've laid some people off, so they're trying to cut costs at Geminis, but it appears that they're trying to stall for time, maybe hoping for a sort of a miraculous, quick market uptick, which might be able to, the profits from the market going up, maybe in their personal accounts, then they can pay the customers with that, make them whole. I don't know, I'm just guessing, but it appears that they are stalling for time. Their hole isn't nearly as big as like FTX was or Three Arrows Capital was, but they definitely do have a hole that they cannot fill, and they're trying everything possible to make the money back. No resolution on that right there. And then, so you might be wondering, so why the Genesis problem, you're reading about it, but it's not nearly as sort of vocal a problem as FTX and Three Arrows Capital or Celsius was. Well, the reason is Genesis just deals with institutional customers. A lot of their products, you need a minimum like $2,500 investments, and they're not dealing with the retail crowd. The retail crowd, that's what Celsius dealt with, that's what FTX dealt with mostly. They are much more vocal. When shit hits the fan, those customers are pissed. They will let you hear about it. Genesis doesn't deal with retail customers. It's just institutional investors, upper middle class, wealthy individuals. They're going to be much less vocal. They're going to be a little more low maintenance. You're not going to hear them complaining too much. That's it right there. Hope you enjoyed the episode. No episodes over the weekend. I'll be back on Monday with a new episode. Smash the like, subscribe button. BencCrypto signing out. Have a good weekend. Catch you later.